Okay, hello everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, it is afternoon. So today we'll be looking at a very simple topic in the English language. And the topic is modal auxiliary verb. Modal auxiliary verb. You must have heard of modal auxiliary verb, and the question has always been, what is modal auxiliary verb? What does it do in a sentence, and how can you identify modal auxiliary verb? So by the time we are through with this class, you would have known what modal auxiliary verb, you would have known the use, you would have known the function, you would have known all the modal auxiliary verbs there that we can possibly have. So, without wasting our time, let me introduce you to what modal auxiliary verb is. I would like to use this anecdote, I would like to use this illustration. So, we have a nurse that is a registered nurse, and then we have another nurse that is not a registered nurse. Now, the registered nurse would have been given the necessary training, all the training that he or she needs to perform or to function properly as a nurse, while the other one will just go through one or two training. Maybe it will not be as formal as the original nurse. So the other nurse will not be as formal as the original nurse. So what I mean is this: the original nurse will be the one that will put on white. The person would have gone through the process of formal education, while the unregistered nurse will be putting on another color, maybe blue, maybe green. Now, the other nurse will be the one supporting the main nurse. The other nurse will be the one supporting the main nurse. Here, the main nurse will be the main verb, or what you call your lexical verb. Your lexical verbs are verbs that perform real actions. Lexical verbs are verbs that perform real actions, while modal auxiliary verb, what they do is that they just support the main action that is being performed. They support the main action that is being performed. In other words, we can also say that, okay, a modal auxiliary verb, we can also say that a modal auxiliary verb is the verb that expresses the mood of a speaker. A modal auxiliary verb is a verb that expresses the mood of a speaker. That is, the verb tells you more about the speaker. It tells you how the speaker feels. So that is just it about modal auxiliary verb. Without wasting our time, I have some materials here that I've prepared. So I've told you what a modal auxiliary verb is, and you might like to create a table. You might like to create a table, and the table will be the first column, just two columns table. The table will be the first column will be modal auxiliary verbs in their present form, and the other column will be modal auxiliary verbs in their past form. Now, modal auxiliary verb in their present form, what are the list of modal auxiliary verbs that we can have? There are just 8 of them. All the modal auxiliary verbs are just 8. They also have their past form, but some do not have past form. And there are some that even their past form are not modal auxiliary verbs. I will explain this. If you if you can take your time to understand this, then you will discover that everything is very, very simple. Everything that I will be treating in this particular session is very, very simple. So the first modal auxiliary verb that we'll be looking at is can. The word can. The first modal auxiliary verb is can, followed by may. May is also a modal auxiliary verb. May is a modal auxiliary verb. And the next one is shall. Shall is a modal auxiliary verb. Shall is a modal auxiliary verb. We also have will. Will, Will, is a modal auxiliary verb. Another modal auxiliary verb is must. Must is a modal auxiliary verb. Must is a modal auxiliary verb. We also have dare. Dare. Dare is a modal auxiliary verb. We have need. Need is a modal auxiliary verb. Please take note of this particular one. Take note of this particular one. It is very, very important that you know the use, you know the function, and you know other things about it. Another modal auxiliary verb is ought to. ought to. So let us look at the past form of all these modal auxiliary verbs. The first modal auxiliary verb that I made mention of is can. The past form of can is could. Could. The past form of can is could. We also have shall. The past form of shall is should. The past form of shall is should. We also have may. The past form of may is might. Might. And we also have will, past form of will is would. Everybody knows that. The past form of must is had to. The past form of must is had to. The past form of must is had to. We have dare. The past form of dare is dared. D-A-R-E-D. The past form of dare is dared. And we also have need. The past form of need is need. The word need in modal auxiliary verb does not have a past form. Does not have a past form. I'll repeat that. Need does not have a past form in modal auxiliary verb. So the past form of need is need. The past form of ought to is had to. So have this at the back of your mind that both must and had to, their modal auxiliary verbs are, and both must and ought to, rather, both must and ought to, their modal auxiliary verbs are had to. Both must and ought to, their modal auxiliary verbs is had to. Their modal auxiliary verb is had to. So we've taken that. So I'll be looking at the next page. The next page is here. Understand that had to is not a modal auxiliary verb, although it is a past form of both must and ought to. Add to is not a modal auxiliary verb. If you have any questions, please leave all your questions in the comment section. If you have any question, leave all your question in the comment section. I'll be attending to every one of them, one after the other. Trust me, I will attend to all your questions. Leave everything in the comment section. So understand that had to is not a modal auxiliary verb, and it is the past form of must and ought to. Please understand that. Now let us look at this. We have how do you use modal auxiliary verb? You must have heard of the modal auxiliary verb shall and will. How they are mostly misused. How they are mostly misused. Now, when we talk about shall, shall, we have persons, we have pronouns that can use shall. And we also have pronouns or persons that can use will, shall and will. Please take note of this. Whenever you want to use shall, whenever you are using shall can only be used when you are making use of the first person pronoun I and we. I, that is me, and we, other people, including yourself. The first person pronouns I and we. You say, I shall come to Lagos tomorrow. I shall come to Lagos tomorrow. Not you shall come to Lagos tomorrow. Not you shall come to Lagos tomorrow. So I and we take the modal auxiliary verb shall. I and we take the modal auxiliary verb shall. Another one is understand that you cannot use shall for he, she, it, you, they. You cannot use modal auxiliary verbs for he, she, it, you, they. I'll take that again. You cannot use modal auxiliary verb for he, a boy, she, a girl, it, you, and they. You cannot use the modal auxiliary verb that you have mentioned, which are will and shall. So you use shall with I and we only. It is wrong to say that they shall travel tomorrow. You don't say they shall travel tomorrow. Don't ever say they shall travel tomorrow. And you also don't say it shall be here by next fortnight. It is wrong to say it shall be here by next fortnight. You can say I will or I shall buy the biscuits tomorrow. It is proper to say I will buy the biscuits tomorrow or I shall buy the biscuits tomorrow. You don't say he shall buy the biscuits tomorrow. Another one is you can say they will travel tomorrow, not they shall travel tomorrow. Please take note of that. We move to the functions of modal auxiliary verb. We've seen what modal auxiliary verbs are. If you've not forgotten, I told you that modal auxiliary verbs, they are just like supporting verbs. They support the main verb, and they also serve as what describes the mood of a particular speaker. They also serve as what describes the mood of a particular speaker. So we move to the functions of all the modal auxiliary verbs that we have mentioned. The first function is the function of will. That is number one, function of will. 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 Now, the first function of will is that it shows future action. Will shows future action. Please understand that it shows future action. Now, another function is that it is used to indicate determination or willingness. It is used to indicate determination. If you are determined to do something or you are willing to do something, you use will. Another one is that it shows consistent action of the moment. Will shows consistent action of the moment. Examples. Let us look at some examples here. For the future action, we have he will play the piano in the church tomorrow. He will play the piano in the church tomorrow. Please understand this. We are talking about when you use will to indicate what? To indicate future action. He will play the piano in the church tomorrow. The next one is when you want to use it to show determination. When you are using it to show determination, you say, I will gain admission next year. That is, you are determined to gain admission next year. If you will gain admission next year, please write it in the comment section. Say, I will gain admission next year. Write it there. Say, I will gain admission next year. If you will gain admission next year, write, I will gain admission next year. Another one is when you are using it to show consistent action. You can use will to show consistent action. How do you use will to show consistent action? Example is Monday, that is someone's name, will cry and cry day after day. Monday will cry and cry day after day. We move to the next one, the function of would. The function of would. Would. The function of would. Would. Now, would is a past form of will. Have that at the back of your mind that would is a past form of will. An example is, he said yesterday that he would pass his examination. He said yesterday that he would pass his examination. He said yesterday that he would pass his examination. So understand that would is a past form of will. He said yesterday. The action has happened in the past. It happened in the past. So he said yesterday that he would pass his examination. Would, an action that has occurred in the past. So we move to the next function of would. It is used in polite request. It is used in polite request. If you are trying to request for something politely, you can use would. If you are trying to request for something politely, you use would. An example is, would you like to open the window? You are simply saying, please open the window. If you say, would you like to open the window? You are simply saying, please open the window. Now we move to the function of shall. We move to the function of shall. If there is anything that you do not understand, as we are moving along, if there is anything you do not understand, please let me know in the comment section. I will attend to everything, one after the other. So we have, okay, so she has, okay, we have some good comments here. So yes, you all gain admission next year by God's grace. So let us look at the functions of shall. You use shall to show future action of the first person. You use shall to show future action of the first person, the future action of the first person. Don't forget the first person that we are talking about. We are simply talking about I and we. I and we. First person pronoun I, first person pronoun we. So you use shall to show a future action of the first person pronoun I and we. Then we have some examples here. I shall visit the old woman tomorrow. I shall visit the old woman tomorrow. Another one is, we shall see you when we arrive. We shall see you when we arrive. So we move to the next one. Another one that is another function of shall is to issue court official commands. So you must have asked, you must be asking yourself that, but I have heard of so many sentences, even by professionals, and they make use of things like, okay, can I, okay, wait. So I have Musa saying, can I say, would you like to sit down? Okay, Musa is saying, can I say, would you like to sit down? Would you, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm finding it difficult to see what is here. Maybe it's because we are not having, okay, it will come up, I will understand. So, would you like to sit down? Yes, you are simply saying, sit down, please. It is very correct. Sit down, please. Making requests. Would you like to sit down? That is, we have sit there. So, please sit down. That is what you have just done. You have made a polite request. So don't forget. So want to look at to issue court or official commands. That is the other function of what? Of shall. You can use shall um with the second person pronoun. You can use shall with the second person pronoun. You can use shall with the second person pronoun when it is an official or when it is a court command, an official command or a court command. You can use shall. If you understand that, okay, this is a court command, this is an official command, you can use shall. A very good example is when a judge is trying to address maybe an accused, he will say, you shall serve 7 years imprisonment with hard labor for rape. You shall serve 7 years imprisonment with hard labor for rape. Please take note of this. It is you shall, because it is an official command. It is a court command. So you shall serve 7 years imprisonment with hard labor for rape. None of you shall serve any year imprisonment for any misdemeanor in Jesus' name. So let us move to the next one. We are looking at the next function. That is the function of should. The function of should. Should. should, the functions of should. The first function of should is it is the past form of shall. Understand that should is a past form of shall. Should is a past form of shall. Example, I promised that I should pass my examination last year. I promised that I should pass my examination last year. Please take note of that. I promised, the past form of shall. So we move to the next one. The next function is it is used to express what is expected. You use should to express what is expected, you are expecting someone to do, what is expected of a particular individual. So you use should to express what is expected. A very good example is you should keep your hair short as a young man. You should keep your hair short as a young man. So if you're a young man, you are expected to keep your hair short. Like me, I'm not expected to have a very long hair. It is not proper. It is not the right thing. So you should keep your hair short as a young man. So another question is, can you say you should keep your hair, you should keep your hair long as an old man? That is just a joke, anyways. So we'll move to the next one, the next function. It is used to express duty or obligation. You use should to express duty or obligation. If there is anything that you want to know about should, please ask in the comment section. You use should to express duty or obligation. A very good example is you should not allow any car park by the gate. You should not allow any car park by the gate. That is, you are obliged not to allow any car park by the gate. That is, it is an obligation that you do not allow any car park by the gate. Is that taken? Good. So we move to the next one, the function of can. The function of can. C-A-N, the functions of can. You use can to express ability. You use can to express ability. This particular this particular modal auxiliary verb just made me to laugh because I remember so many things. I remember so many things. How people misuse this modal auxiliary verb. So we are going to see we are going to see how people misuse it. Even how some of you misuse this modal auxiliary verb. So you use can to express ability. A very good example. If you can drive a car, you should say, I can drive a car. Don't ever say, I can be able to drive a car. See, if you say, I can drive a car, and you have, I can drive a car, you are now saying, be able. Don't forget that can is used to express ability. So why should you say, I can, and then you are saying, be able? That is tautology. You are repeating the same thing. You are repeating the same thing. You are repeating the same thing. I can, then you are saying be able. So you don't say I can be able to drive a car. It is simply I can drive a car. It is I can drive a car. Is that taken? I can drive a car. Is that taken? So we move to the next one. Okay, no comments yet. So we move to the next one. You use can to express opportunity. You use can to express opportunity. Understand that you can also use can to express opportunity. Now, listen to this example. If favor comes, he can meet the new professor once and for all. If favor comes, he can meet the new professor once and for all. The simple meaning of that is it is possible or favor has the opportunity of meeting the new professor provided he shows up. Is that taken? So if favor comes, he can meet the professor, the new professor, once and for all. Now, the other one, the last one is that you can also use it to ask and give permission. You also use can to ask and give permission. A very simple example, we have two speakers here. Let us say I am the first speaker and I am the second speaker. You understand? Let us say I am the first speaker and I am the second speaker. So the first speaker is saying, can I call you by your name? Can I call you by your name? And the second speaker is saying, yes, you can. Now, the first speaker saying, can I call you by your name? Is only doing what? Is only asking for permission. And the second speaker saying, yes, you can. Is given permission. Is that taken? So you can use can to ask and give permission. So we move to the next one. If there is anything that you do not understand, please ask in the comment section. So we move to the next one. The function of could. C-O-U-L-D. The function of could. The functions of could. The first function is that it is used to express ability, just like can. Don't forget that it is the past form of can. C-O-U-L-D is a past form of can. So you can also use could to express what? To express ability. You can use could to express ability. Example, this man could ride a bicycle before, but he cannot ride it again. An ability of the past or an ability in the past, you use could to express such ability. This man could. You don't say, this man can drive a bicycle before. Eh? Most of you say that a lot. Most of you say that a lot. This man can drive a bicycle before. You don't say that. That is wrong. So you use could. You say this man could drive a bicycle before. Is that taken? So we move to the next one. Oh, the next one is that you can also use could to express requests. You can also use could to express request. Example, could you take me to the new market? Could you take me to the new market? This means that I am requesting that you take me to the new market. I am requesting that you take me to the new market. So you can use could to do what? To express request. Now we move to the next one. We are gradually covering this. We are gradually covering everything. We move to the next one, which is the functions of may. M-A-Y. The functions of may. M-A-Y. You use may to ask for permission politely. Don't forget that in the previous one, I told you that you use a particular modal auxiliary verb to ask for permission. You use a particular modal auxiliary verb to ask for permission, but it is not politely. So what is the modal auxiliary verb? If you have been following us, please type the modal auxiliary verb here. I am waiting for you. So you can use a particular modal auxiliary verb to ask for permission, but not may. Here, if you want to use may, you are using may to ask for permission politely. You are using may to ask for permission politely. Example, may I use your soap? Did I just mention soap? May I use your soap? The soap we are talking about, I don't want to see that comment. I don't want to see that thing you are thinking of. Maybe soap that you understand. Soap that you understand. So I'm not thinking of that at all. So may I use your soap? And you also use may to give permission to give permission. You use may to give permission. How do you use may to give permission? For example, the question being asked, okay, hello, you are doing very, very well. So this is very great. She said the other modal auxiliary verb is can. You use can to ask for permission, but it is not a polite permission. So who else do we have here? Okay, sir, Musa asked a question which you haven't answered yet. Okay, sir, can I say my father and I shall travel tomorrow? Is that correct? Oh, Musa, you can say my father and I. Now, please take note of this. There is what? There is and there, and it is making it a coordinate concord. Now, Musa and I, you are included. So if you say Musa and I, oh, sorry, not Musa and I, my father and I. If you say my father and I, if you are to bring my father plus yourself, it becomes we shall travel to Lagos tomorrow, or we will travel tomorrow. Is that taking? Is that taking? So, Musa, have I answered your question? So if I've answered your question, please just notify me. Just say, okay, you have answered my question. That is great. So we move to the next one. You use may to give permission. So I asked in the previous question, can I use your soap? And then the response is, you may use my soap. So I'm simply saying that the soap is there. Whenever you are ready, you can use it. You may use it. Please, pardon me. You may use it. You may use it. That is, you may choose to use it and you may choose not to use it. Is that taken? So let us move to the next one. You also use may to express prayer or wish. You use may to express prayer or wish. You use may to express prayer or wish. A very good example is, may God bless you. A very good example is, may God bless you. So let us move to the next one. Finally, you use may to show possibility. You use may to show possibility. You use may to show possibility. A very good example is, it may rain tomorrow. That is, it is possible it rains tomorrow. It may rain tomorrow. It is possible it rains tomorrow. So let us move to the next one. The functions of might. M-I-G-H-T. The functions of might. M-I-G-H-T. It functions as the past form of may. M-I-G-H-T functions as the past form of may. Please understand that. Example is, I asked him if I might use his soap. I asked. That is ask in the past form, asked. I asked him if I might use his soap. So you also use might to express possibility. Example, he might see you, hide. He might see you, hide. That is, it is possible for him to see you if you do not hide. It is possible for him to see you if you do not hide. So, Musa, I can see that you have responded that I have answered your question. That is very great. So we move to the next one, the functions of must. The functions of must. M-U-S-T. You use must to give commands of force. You use must, M-U-S-T, to give commands of force. To give commands of force. Example, you must report to this office every day. Someone that is giving that kind of command, the question is, what position does he occupy? Is it a subordinate? Is he a subordinate or the superior? Understand that before you can say before you can do that, you must be the superior here. So we move to another one. Okay, you use must to also establish rule, fiat, or law. You use must to establish rule, fiat, or law. You use must to establish rule, fiat, or law. Example, all pedestrians must climb the footbridge. No one is allowed to cross at the busy road. All pedestrians must climb the footbridge. No one is allowed to cross at the busy road. So we go to the next one, which Okay, it is not even the last one. We go to the next one. You also use must to mean likely. Must also means likely or not true. Oh, that is quite confusing, right? You use must to mean likely or not true. A very good example is did you give birth to 62 children? Listen, did you give birth to 62 children? You must be joking. That is, it is not true that you give birth to 62 children. It is not true that you what? Give birth to 62 children. Is that taken? So another one, another function is that you use must to show simple expectation. You use must to show simple expectation. I must take my drugs if I want to get better is a very good example. If I want to get better, I must take my drug. That is, your expectation of getting better is only dependent on you taking your drug. So let us move to the next one, which is the function of need. Here we have a whole lot to talk about. So if you have any question, please leave your question in the comment section and we answer it. We have a whole lot to talk about here. Need, Need. The first function of need is that you use it to show expectation. Now, this particular one, this particular modal auxiliary verb, the knowledge is being tested in JAMB. It is being tested in JAMB almost every time. I am talking about the modal auxiliary verb, need, Need. The knowledge, your knowledge of this particular modal auxiliary verb is being tested in JAMB year in, year out. It is possible that you see it in your own question and it is possible that you do not see it. But understand that JAMB will test this particular one year in, year out. And there is need for you to understand the difference between need as a modal auxiliary verb and need as a main verb. It is what we are going to discuss now. There is need for you to understand the difference between need as a modal auxiliary verb and need as a main verb. Now, let us start with the first function of need. The first function of need is that you use it to show expectation. You use need to show expectation. A very good example is she need to study towards her examination. She need to study. I did not say she needs. Take note of that. We'll come back to it. She need to study towards her examination. I did not add S to this. She need to study towards her examination. I did not add S to need. Please take note of that. Now, the word need should never attract S. The reason why it should not attract S is because it is a modal auxiliary verb. But the question you want to ask me is that how do you identify that this is a modal auxiliary verb? That is, this need is a modal auxiliary verb. It is not a main verb. You will identify need as a modal auxiliary verb when the next word that follows it is a what? Is a verb. You can only identify that, okay, this is a modal auxiliary verb if the word that follows it, that is the word that succeeds it, is a verb. The word that succeeds it is a verb. Please take note of this. It is not compulsory that it is primarily a verb. It could be a preposition before a verb. So she need to study. We have a preposition before the main verb, study. So she need to study the preposition before the main verb, study. Is that taking? So with that, you will be able to identify that, oh, this is need, modal auxiliary verb, and it must, it should, and will never attract S. Because I taught you in the rule of Concord, when we were treating Concord, I taught you that a singular subject takes a singular verb. And then you might be tempted to think that, okay, because she is a singular subject, then we have need here. We have need. So the need should be singular verb that attracts us. No, you don't do that. Please don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Understand that for you to understand, for you to identify that this is need for modal auxiliary verb, it immediately be followed by either a preposition and a verb or a verb directly. Okay, so and another thing that you need to understand is that no modal auxiliary verb attracts s. You don't say she will come to market because the the subject is singular. You don't say she will come to market tomorrow. You don't say she can drive a car. She can drive a car. You don't say that. So don't forget that can is a modal auxiliary verb. Will is a modal auxiliary verb. You don't add s. Even if the subject of the clause is singular, you don't add s to any modal auxiliary verb. Understand that. So let us talk about types of need. I have explained it already. I said there are two types of need. The first type of need is the modal auxiliary verb need, which will be immediately followed by what? It will be immediately followed by a preposition and a verb or a verb. That type of need does not attract s. And we also have need for main, that is the second type of need that is a main verb. Need that is a main verb. Such need can attract s. Is that taken? If you have need that is a main verb, the need can attract s. A very good example is, look at this. Let us have some example. Okay, Shade needs Adiola to bring the bag by tomorrow. Shade needs Adiola to bring the bag by tomorrow. What comes to your mind? Okay, this is it. What comes to our mind, what you should understand is this. When the need is a main verb, it will be immediately followed by either a noun or a noun phrase or a pronoun. It will be immediately followed by maybe a noun phrase, or a pronoun. So look at it here. Shade needs Adiola after needs. Don't forget, I am adding s to this because the word that follows it is a noun. Shade needs Adiola to bring the bag by tomorrow. So Shade needs Adiola to bring the bag by tomorrow. Is that taken? So need, another function of need is that need also means necessary. Need also means necessary. Let us see some examples here. Oh, just an example. An example we do. So here we have speaker A. Let us say I am speaker A. This voice here, I am speaker A. And this other voice here, I am speaker B. Is that taken? So now listen to this conversation or to this dialogue. Do you need to greet everyone you meet? Do you need to greet everyone you meet? Speaker B? No, I needn't. Do you need to greet everyone you meet? No, I needn't. That is it necessary you greet everyone you meet? And the speaker B is saying, no, it is not necessary I greet everyone I meet. Is that taken? So you can also use what? Need to mean necessary. So we move to the next one. And the next one is the modal auxiliary verb ought to. The modal auxiliary verb ought to. The modal auxiliary verb ought to. That is the function of the modal auxiliary verb ought to. OUGHTTO. The first function, and probably the only function of the modal auxiliary verb ought to, is that it shows simple expectation. The modal auxiliary verb ought to shows simple expectation. Please understand that the modal auxiliary verb ought to shows simple expectation. Is that taken? A very good example is, you ought to greet her as soon as she approached. Or just let me put it this way, you ought to greet her as she approached. You ought to greet her as she approached. The meaning is this: you expected to greet her as she approached. Is that taken? Since you are using it to do what? You are using it to express expectation. So note the negative form of ought to is oughtn't to or ought not to. Is that taken? So we move to the next one. We move to the next one. If you are really, really learning, if you know that you are learning, please type I am learning in the comment section. If you are learning, type I am learning. I like to see everyone type I am learning in the comment section. So we move to the next one, the next modal auxiliary verb. And we are looking at dare, dare, D-A-R-E, dare, D-A-R-E, the functions of dare, although just one, like the one we just treated. The function of dare. You use it to throw a challenge. You use what? You use there to throw a challenge. You use there to throw a challenge. Example, I dare say, I will defeat you. I dare say, I will defeat you. That is, I am throwing a challenge that I will defeat you. So use there, D-A-R-E, to throw a challenge. And we have come to the end of all the functions of all the modal auxiliary verbs that we have. We've come to the end of all the functions of the modal auxiliary verbs that we have. But now the question is, during your examination, okay, thank you. The question is, during the examination, you will see so many modal auxiliary verbs that will be asked. How do you go about answering the question? How do you pick the right modal auxiliary verb? How do you pick the right modal auxiliary verb? It is very simple, and that is what we'll be doing in the next section, which is the loss of modal auxiliary verb. The loss of modal auxiliary verb. So we have Kabiru saying, can I use, okay, he said, sir, can I use you should? Okay, I think I'm having something that is, okay, to report to this office every day. Okay, he's saying, can I use you should report to this office every day? Can I use this? Yes, you can use it since it is an obligation. That is, the person is obliged to report to the office every day. The person is obliged to report to the office every day. So you can use you should report to this office every day. So, Kabiru, did I answer your question? Great. So let us go to the loss of modal auxiliary verb. The loss of modal auxiliary verb. The first law is when a sentence containing two clauses already has a past verb, choose the past modal auxiliary verb. Okay, look at it. You have a sentence, and in the sentence, you have two clauses. And one of the clauses has a main verb that is in the past. One of the clauses has a main verb that is in the past. Where you want to pick your modal auxiliary verb, your modal auxiliary verb should be in the past. It should be the modal auxiliary verb in the past. Modal auxiliary verb in the past. Is that taking a very good example? He said he might go there. He said he might go there. So we have he said. He said. Said here is the past form of say. That is the main verb. He might go there. We have might, the past form of what? The past form of may. The past form of may. So he said he might go there. Is that taking? So what of if it is in the present form? So he says he may go there. He says he may go there. That is what he says every day. He may go there. Not he says he might go there. Not he said he may go there. So he says he may go there, or he said he might go there. I will take that again. Please, I will take that again. When a sentence containing two clauses already has a past form of a main verb, choose the past modal auxiliary verb that is appropriate. Please understand that. So we move to the next rule. We move to the next rule. Use I and we with shall alone. You use I and we with shall. Whenever you are using shall, just know that you are going to use I and we. You cannot use he, you cannot use she, you cannot use we, you cannot use they, you cannot use you. The only condition that should make you to use you shall is when it is what? It is when it is a court command or an official command. Is that taken? Is that taken? So we move to the example here. We have um, I shall I shall go to Lagos tomorrow. That is the most simple example I can think of. I shall go to Lagos tomorrow. So let me see. Can you give me some examples? Just type one example in the comment section. Just type one example in the comment section. Let me see it. One example of how to use shall. One example of how to use shall. And I'll correct it instantly. I'll do that instantly. I'm expecting you one example of shall, when to use shall. I will correct that instantly. So let us move to the next one. Law 3. Whenever you want to use shall, understand that you have to use shall the same way you use a verb that ends with ing. You know, normally some main verbs will end with what? Will end with ing. For example, dancing. So when you use shall or will, just understand that the same way you use a verb that ends with ing is the same way you use shall, and it will mean the same thing. A very good example is look at this. I shall play football tomorrow. Take note of this. I shall play football tomorrow. It is ended like we have shall. We are using shall there rather. I shall play football tomorrow. We are using shall. And then we have I am playing football tomorrow. I am playing football tomorrow. I am playing football tomorrow. So it means the same thing. I shall play football tomorrow and I am playing football tomorrow means the same thing. The same way you use shall is the same way you also use any main verb that ends with ing. Please understand that. So we have the next law, which is law 4. Do not use can and be able together. It is ibon. Do not use can and be able together. Don't say I can be able to sing. It is I can sing or I am able to sing. I can sing or I am able to sing. Don't say I can be able to sing. It is wrong. It is even tautology. You are repeating the same thing. Don't say I can be able to sing. It is wrong. Is that taking? It is wrong. And so let us move to the next law, which is law 5. The next law, which is law 5. Do not put an S after need if it is a modal auxiliary verb. I am very sure that I have explained everything you need to understand when we have need as a modal auxiliary verb. Don't ever add an S to it. Don't ever add an S, even if the even if the subject is a singular subject. Don't ever add an S to it. Do not add an S to need, need, if the need is a modal auxiliary verb. If you are still struggling with understanding how to identify a need, if it is a modal auxiliary verb, you can go back to the video. Please just make sure you rewind back to that session. And I will also do well to cut, by the end of this class, I'll be editing this video. I will do well to put timestamp on it so that you'll be able to just go back to it if you want to watch it and understand what we are talking about. Please do not add s to need if the need is a modal auxiliary verb. A very good example is she need not go. The meaning of she need not go is she does not need to go. Is that okay? She does not need to go. So I have some examples here. Someone said, they shall travel to Jos tomorrow. That is correct. We shall have lunch at the restaurant nearby. Oh, those are very, very correct. You've done well. So let us move to the next one. Now, please take note of this. These are another pit that JAMB will always dig for candidates. And JAMB will always dig this pit. And JAMB understands that because you do not study, you are going to fall in it. Yes, you will fall in it. But because you are here, congratulate yourself. Just say congratulations to me. Congratulate yourself that I am revealing this to you. Okay, if it's worth congratulating yourself over, you will know. And if it does not worth it, you will know. But if it really worth congratulating yourself over, please just type congratulations to me in the comment section. And then the next one is, we all know that must sometimes means necessary. Must sometimes means necessary. So whenever you see a question that has must in it, a question that has must, you are not expected to reply with must. A very good example, let me also come up with this dialogue between two people. And the first person will be, that is the first speaker. The second speaker will be, so I'm not the one talking now. So look at speaker A. Speaker A say, must you shout when making call? Must you shout when making call? And how do you expect speaker B to respond? Okay, how do you expect speaker B to respond? Okay, type how you expect speaker B to respond. Type it before I tell you the answer. Must you shout when making call? And speaker B will reply like this. No, I need not to shout when making call. Did I just say I need not to shout? Yes, whenever you have a question that has must, don't ever reply. Don't ever reply with must. Is that taken? Don't ever reply with must. Reply with need or need not as the case requires. Please reply with need or need not as the case requires or as the situation permits. Is that taken? So I have a question here. This person said, sir, okay, you said must is used for command. What about this most? What about most? When should I use it? Most is not a modal auxiliary verb. Please, most is not a modal auxiliary verb. Musa, most is not a modal auxiliary verb. Is that taken? So let us look at another one here. The person said, I would have answered with no. I must not shout while making. You see? So congratulate yourself. Congratulate yourself. So whenever you have a question that has must, don't ever use must to answer. I am very, very sure that this video is providing value. So as it is providing value, just share it with others, ask your friends to watch. God bless you. So let us move to the next one. Let us move to the next one. When an action has gone in the past, use past form of modal auxiliary verb. When an action has been carried out in the past, you should know that the modal auxiliary verb to use is past form of the appropriate modal auxiliary verb. A very good example is he could drive before. Yes, he could drive before. The action had happened in the past. So, okay. So, Musa, congratulations. Oh. So, he could drive before. He could drive before. So, now, I can speak German now. I am talking about now. So, I'm not talking about in the past. I can speak German now. Yes, I mean it. I can speak German now. I know some words in German. In German. I know some German words. So let me see. Do I still remember some? Okay, I have Vater. Okay, Vater is father. You have Tochter as daughter. You have Sohn as son. You have Junge as young or boy. Okay, so many. You have Katze. You have Vaza, and I can say, okay, don't let me go there. It is not. Okay, so the example is I can speak German now. Don't forget that because I am saying what I can do now, it is action of now. So the action of now, I should use the right modal auxiliary verb, which is present modal auxiliary verb. So we move to the next law, which is law 8. So must also means seems or appears to. Must, it sometimes means seems or appears to. be true. It sometimes means seems or appears to be true. Must sometimes means seems or appears to be true. Example, you must be right. It simply means it appears to be true that you are right, or it seems you are right. Okay, okay, please, Farouk, ask all the questions you want to ask, and I will answer everything. Hopefully before the end of the class. But if you have anything that you want to understand, please, you can always go back to the video. The video is there. It is recorded live. And the moment we are through with it, it will be uploaded. You also have opportunity to watch it over and over again. So we've taken law 8. We've taken law 8. Now let us see. Do I have law? I think we have like 11 laws. So we have 11 laws. So the other laws, let us see, law 9. When an action is to be in the future, what are you supposed to do? Just make sure that you use the right modal auxiliary verb, which will be the present form of the modal auxiliary verb. Is that okay? The present form of the modal auxiliary verb. When an action is to be in the future, use the present form of the modal auxiliary verb. Another one is, that is law 10. Law 10. Okay, maybe I should give you an example of law 9. We will finish the work tomorrow. We will finish the work tomorrow. We will finish the work tomorrow. The present form, the modal auxiliary verb there is will, and the present form of will is will. And don't forget that it is an action in the future. So we will finish the work tomorrow. It is still something that will happen in the future. So just say we will finish the work tomorrow. So the next law, which is law 10, for habitual action of the present, use will, but for habitual action of the past, use would. It is just repetition of what we have taken. So for habitual action of the present, you use will, and for habitual action of the past, you use what? You use would. Okay. He said, are these laws for auxiliary verb usage? Yes, these laws are for modal auxiliary verbs. Please watch the video over and over again. You will understand everything. Everything. I made effort to repeat some things. Yes, I should just do it once and ask you to go back to it. But because I understand this is a live class, that is why I've decided to repeat some of this over and over again. So we then move to the last law. We have come to the end of all these laws. So the last law, use should have for what one is expected to do, and should not have for what one is not expected to do. You use should have. If you know that, okay, this is what this person is expected to do, use should have. If you understand that this person is expected to do this, you should have shown up with the bucket, or you should have come with the bucket. That is, you are expected to come with the bucket. You should not have spent the money anyhow. You are not expected to spend the money anyhow. Is that taking? So we have come to the end of this beautiful section, and I'm very, very sure that every one of you has learned. If you have really learned, type I have learned greatly. Please type I have learned greatly in the comment section. Type I have learned greatly. And this section, the next session we are going to, will be where we'll be looking at some past questions, answering the questions. So I will ask the questions. I'm not typing anything. This is YouTube live. We cannot share screen. I didn't mean that it is Google Meet. We can share our screen. But now we cannot share any screen. So please, if you have learned greatly, just say, I have learned greatly. I have learned. Please take note of this. I have learned greatly. Learned, Learnt. That is the best way to spell learn in the past if you are using British English. Sorry. Americans they say I have learned greatly, but British guys will say I have learned greatly. So let us look at some past questions. So we look at 2000 and Okay, this is past questions. I want everyone, I will dictate the question. So you write your answer, just type your answer, then I will correct it. Don't worry, I'll correct it. So we have 2004 question 33. 2004 question 33. The reporter said that the honorable speaker dash impeached. The reporter said that the honorable speaker dash impeached. Is it A, is to be impeached, B, might have been impeached, C, may have been impeached, D, will have been impeached? I'll take the question again. The reporter said that the honorable speaker dash impeached. Is it is to be impeached, or might have been impeached, or may have been impeached, or will have been impeached? So please type your answer there and let me do the correction. I am waiting. Just type your answer. A is to be impeached. B might have been impeached. C may have been impeached. D will have been impeached. Okay, you guys are doing well. I understand that very well. Now, let me expose a secret to you. Okay, now, so for yes, yes, those of you that were in the class with me from the very beginning, the likes of Elohor and Musa, you got it right. Yes, let me show you love. Let me show you love. Let me pour some love. Okay, I'm giving you 100%. Okay, I should also. Okay, I'm trying to. I don't even know how to make use of this, but I will get the hang of it very soon. Okay, okay. How do I make this disappear? Why is it okay? Okay, okay. Don't worry. I will get the hang of it very soon. But I will let me just. Okay, I think I'm coming. Oh, I'm giving you a lot of love, lot of love. So guys, you can also reciprocate, reciprocate, no, reciprocate, reciprocate. Thank you. Don't laugh. Okay, the answer is might have been. The reason is this: we have the main verb said. We have a main verb said, a main verb here, and the main verb is said. Don't forget, the reporter said that the honorable speaker, the reporter said that the honorable speaker, so the answer should be might have been impeached. The past form of may is might. So in this, understand that the only option that has the modal auxiliary verb in the past is option what? Is option B, which is might. Others are in the present form. Is that taken? Others are in the present form. So I hope you have learned that. So the second law is not second law. Law, all these laws. I've memorized so many laws that even if I want to read question, I will also call it law. Okay, the second question is from JAMB past question 2003, question 9, 29 rather, 2003, question 29. If you saw the photograph of the man, that should be able to identify him. If you saw the photograph of the man, that should be able to identify him. Is it A, could, B, would, C, can, D, will? If you saw the photograph of this of the man, that should be able to identify him. So, can you give me your answer? Is it could, would, can, or will? I'm expecting your answer before I take the correction. Okay, so without wasting our time, the answer is would. The reason why it is would is not far-fetched. We are talking about the second person pronoun. You is there. If you is there. If you saw, and then we have saw, past tense of see, the main verb, past tense of see, the main verb, past tense of see, the main verb, past tense of see. So it is if you And don't forget, in the we said you should only use shall. Are you with me? We said you should only use shall when you're talking about um, first person pronouns, including that is first person pronoun of I and we first person pronoun. So here we don't have that first person pronoun, so we cannot use should. Is that taking? Is that taking? So you cannot use should. So the answer is would you be able to identify him? Not could you be able to identify him? Because it is not an ability. Is that taking? It is would you be able to identify him? So we move to the next one. We move to the next one. And the next question is question 85, 1991 JAMB pass question. Question 85, 1991 JAMB pass question. Please, if you are learning, say, oh my God, I am learning. Yes, now, oh, Farouk said, why? Okay, Farouk said, why is the question so? Yes, the question is so. It's because of this word, if, if. In most cases, when if starts a sentence, there is a law that guides it. When if starts a sentence, most especially the action as is something that has happened in the past. When if start a sentence, you are expected to use the next verb should be past verb. So instead of saying if you see the photograph of the man, it is if you saw the photograph because of if here. Is that taking? So if you are learning, say, oh my God, I am learning. So we move to the next one. That is 1991 question 85. He dashed by now. I can hear all the people shouting. He dashed by now. I can hear all the people shouting. Is it he would have arrived by now? I can hear all the people shouting. Or he must have arrived by now. I can hear all the people shouting. Or he has arrived by now. I can hear all the people shouting. The last one, he should have arrived by now. I can hear all the people shouting. So tell me your answer, and then I'll tell you the answer. The correction. Okay, the answer in the comment section. You are doing well. So the answer simply is okay. What should it be? What should it be? I'm also thinking. I'm also thinking. Okay. Okay. Hello, Mukoro, you have done well. He must have arrived by now. He must have arrived by now. He's very, very correct. He's very, very correct because the people can only shout because he has arrived. The people can only shout because he has arrived. So he must have arrived by now. I can hear all the people shouting. Go back to law 8 and you understand this. Please go back to law 8. You're all doing well. You are all doing well. Okay, it is. Don't forget, it is. He must have arrived by now. It is. He must have arrived by now. Is that taking? So that is. We said you use must to expect and to do or to express expectation. Let us go back to it. Law 8. Must sometimes means seems or appears to. Please take note of this. Must. So since you can hear people shouting, pardon me, since you can hear people shouting, it then means that it appears to be that he has arrived. It appears that he has arrived. Or it seems that he has arrived because people are shouting. See, I'll take it again. He dash arrived by now. I can hear all the people shouting. That is, he must have arrived by now. People are shouting. So because people are shouting, he must have arrived by now. So we move to the next one. We move to the next one. The next question. And the question is JAMB pass question 1990 question 65. So we have the lecturer said that we dash be able to finish the next chapter this evening. The lecturer said that we dash be able to finish the next chapter this evening. Is it A, we must be able, or B, we can be able. C, we shall be able. D, we should be able. The lecturer said that we dash be able to finish the next chapter this evening. So what's the answer? The lecturer said that, so don't force yourself over this and don't stress yourself at all as well. So since we have the lecturer said, the main verb here is said. There is main verb. There is a main verb that is in the past. There is a main verb that is in the past. So the answer should be we should be able. Yes, yes. Musa, the answer should be we should be able. Please always take note of the main verb. Before you can pick an answer, always be conscious of the main verb. Is that taken? So it is we should be able. The main verb is said. The lecturer said that. Thank you. You are doing well. So we move to the next question. The next question, which is question 64, 1990. And that is where we are going to call it a wrap for today. Question 64, 1990. I would have been off to see Bola. I would have been off to see Bola at Festac Town by the time you dash tomorrow. I would have been off to see Bola at Festac Town by the time you dash tomorrow. Is it by the time you returned? A, returned. Returned. B, return. Return. C, are returning. D, would have arrived. So what is the answer? I'll take the question again. I would have been off to see Bola at Festac Town by the time you dash tomorrow. I would have been off. So the modal auxiliary verb here, would, the verb that should accompany it. Since you have a modal auxiliary verb, would, the main verb that should accompany it should be what? It should be past form of the main verb. So it should be returned. It should be returned. So we have come to the end of today's class. We have come to the end of today's class. If you found value in this class, just make sure you like this video. There is the like button there. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video with all your friends. You can also share our channel. Whenever we have anything like this, you'll be the first to be notified. You don't have to be told. You don't have to be searching for everything up and down. You don't have to be doing that. You just have to get it right here. It is here. All you need is here. So whenever we have any content that is helpful like this, you'll be the first person to be notified. So we have come to the end of the class. Don't forget everything that we said, everything one after the other. We said whenever you are using I or we, that is the first person pronoun, I or we. The modal auxiliary verb that should accompany it must be what? Must be shall. You can also use will. Please take note of that. You can also use will whenever you are using I or we. You use will when you are expressing determination. You use will when you are expressing determination. And I also made mention of this. I said need. The modal auxiliary verb need does not have a singular form. That is, you don't have to add s to it. You cannot add s to the modal auxiliary verb need. The reason why you don't add s is because it is modal auxiliary verb. And I also told you that you can differentiate between a modal auxiliary verb and a main verb need. It is in the video. Just make sure you go back to the video, watch it over again, and you are going to get everything that we have said clearly. So if you have really gained a lot from this class, you can see I'm tired already. I promised you that we are going to start the class by 12, although we're a bit late, we're a bit behind schedule. So we started, a little minute or some minutes past 12. But even at that, we're able to cover everything that you need to understand in modal auxiliary verb. If you want to have a copy of this, I prepared this. Please, you can leave a comment saying, please, I need a copy of the note. I will send it to you. And the other part of it is, if you found value in this video, please share it with everybody that you know, anybody and everybody that you know that is writing JAMB in 2024. Make sure you share it with the person. I appreciate you all for being here. Please, you can enroll. You can enroll to our premium class. We have premium classes that we hold on Google Meet. If you want to enroll for the premium class, that is the class. It is very, very affordable. Please write there, just type there that I want to join the premium class. The premium class is affordable. It is very, very affordable. Trust me. You can just type it there that I want to enroll for the premium class. I appreciate every one of you for joining us. This is Akadae's Tutors, and I am Shijuade Olushola Samson. Come SOS. I'm your English tutor for today. Have you subscribed? Oh, thank you. Please make sure to subscribe. God bless you. God bless you. And we call it a day. Bye bye. Did I just say bye bye? Oh, bye. Uh,